There is a lot that you can do in the Abbey every day. While some of it is optional, almost all of it is going to be necessary if you want your heroes to perform at their best every day. So today, in partnership with Marvel and 2K, I'm showing you how to navigate the Abbey efficiently and effectively to maximize your chance of defeating Lilith, the mother of demons, who coincidentally is also your mom. My name is Christopher Rod, and here are 17 things that you should do every day in the Abbey for Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Before we begin, is there anything else I should know?
Number one, I firmly believe that to have an efficient day, you've got to have a plan. So here are some questions that you should be thinking about while you're building your plan for the day. What resources do you need? Are you short on essences to upgrade or craft abilities? Do you need credits so you can afford to buy Abbey building upgrades? What about sparring? You need credits for that too. Are you short on artifacts, falling behind on research? What about intel? Are you just trying to grind out cards and upgrades for a specific hero? Are you looking to advance the story? These are all things that you need to decide on, and you can consider all of these options at the mirror table. So that's our first stop after a good night's rest. The answers to these questions could influence your upcoming decisions. Then you need to be looking for answers to who are you fighting? Is there a boss? Could there be a boss? What's the mission type? Most importantly, who's coming with you to combat that day? After you've thought about this, I would recommend heading to the Forge and submit any artifacts you may have. And ensure that you have a research project going each day as often as you're able to make that happen. Artifacts, or lack thereof, can bottleneck your growth, so I'd prioritize having these available as you start to wrap up the multiple days of research available at each research level. Artifacts are going to boost your research level, and these are required to access the most powerful upgrades for life at the Abbey. Similar to the questions I've been encouraging you to ask yourself already, you need to think about what's going to be most impactful to you right now. Of note here, and with a slight potential to throw off your plan if you haven't been looking at this much yet, what are the prerequisites of the research you want next? Plan ahead so you don't get stalled by not having prerequisites done. Next, I'd recommend talking to Tony and analyzing the coils from any previous missions. Since coils are the main way that you'll gain new abilities and upgrade existing ones, you want to make an informed decision here. I highly recommend checking the card's upgrade here if you're unfamiliar with it. Upgrading the right abilities at the right time can really help with difficult combat situations. Here's a couple things to consider. Which of the abilities currently presented are going to fill a gap for you right now? Are you missing damage on your offensive hero? Feeling light on maybe some knockback or quick cards? Which hero are you currently trying to build a more robust deck for? Which ability has the better upgrade? If you're later in the game, do you even need any of these specific abilities? Or would it be better to just pick the card type and then salvage it for the right essence? Or do you just want to see how cool a move is? I mean, you could do that too. The choice is yours. I don't make these rules. I'm just your internet voice right now. On your way out of the Forge, we're making a quick stop at the gift shop. This is unlocked early in the campaign by reaching a team friendship of level 2. If you want to maximize your friendship boosts, don't sleep on gifts. Heroes can receive gifts multiple times through Hangouts, but remember that some gifts best match certain superheroes. For example, I got a legendary book written in Russian, and I knew this would be great for Magic. Was not disappointed by the result. Huge friendship gains. Next up is to check in with Blade at the yard. The first thing we're going to do is look at ability upgrades. Now, Midnight Suns does a good job of telling you when you have abilities to upgrade, so if you're having trouble keeping track, don't worry too much. Just check here every day, do the upgrades that you think will help you the most. So many decisions here are situational, but as a guiding practice, I'd recommend upgrading the cards that you're already using most often. No upgrade is really bad, but you may not be able to afford all of your upgrades early on, so maximize the bang for your buck. And another quick tip here, when you add a new ability to your starting deck, you'll be forced to remove a current one to make space for it. This is going to result in you having a duplicate. You can then use that duplicate for an upgrade. Consider this when you're choosing your ability offerings in the Forge, because it can make a big difference on how your deck gets built over time. Next up, we're going to spar. As with most activities in the Abbey, you're going to need resources to complete the activity. Now, sparring uses credits, but so does building Abbey upgrades. So you have to have a balance here. It would be nice if you can always plan ahead to have some credits available for sparring each day. Remember when you planned your day at the mirror table? Here's a potential key decision. If the reward on offer for sparring is a combat bonus, you may want to spar with one of the heroes that's going out on your mission today. That said, combat bonuses don't expire until the superhero who earned it has actually been taken out on a combat mission. So don't feel too restricted by this choice, especially if you're taking the same heroes every mission. You will quickly notice a limitation of sparring. A hero is only eligible to spar once every 4 days. But this is also one of the few ways that you can very directly target a hero for friendship boost, which can start to make them feel super strong as the game progresses. Just a quick tip here that relates to both of the yard activities. Each time that you engage in one, you're going to increase your training XP, which eventually increases your training level. These training levels have team-wide tactical impacts. For example, in the early game, these levels dramatically increase your environmental damage in combat. So much so that you can even do more damage via environmental attacks than your regular hero attacks. So if you have the essences and the credits, try to upgrade as many cards as you can. And even if it's on heroes that you don't find yourself using, don't let a day go by without doing upgrades or without sparring, if for no other reason than to progress your training levels. If you think you have a good superhero haven match that falls into your long-term friendship goals, I recommend you visit a haven now. Havens are really good opportunities for huge friendship boosts. Heroes can jump full levels of friendship from the right combination of haven location, gift, and dialogue choices. So choose wisely, and you can do these before combat missions, which is different from regular hangouts, so plan accordingly. Next, I'd recommend you check your map for hero requests. These are marked by question marks above the hero icons on the map. There's literally no reason not to do these. These can result in minor or major boosts for either the hunter, the inquiring superhero, or your resources. Some of the rewards can be permanent stat boosts, and honestly, unless you really need the other option, I can't see a reason why you'd pass up the stat boost specifically. Next up, number 9. I would recommend decrypting your intel and going on a hero op. Now, you could stop here each day while heading to the forge if you just want to evaluate your options, but I wouldn't recommend committing to a decision if you do it then, because you're locking a hero away for a day. I like to do this right before heading out on a mission, so all of my other choices have been made. You might be wondering, what are the rewards for doing hero ops? In short, it's abilities. And these abilities can be modded abilities, upgraded, or of a higher rarity. As a potential bonus as well, you could earn additional ability cards, secondary stat bonuses, XP, or resources like credits, blueprints, essences, and so on. Now, if you've got time to explore the Abbey, this is when I like to do it. During the day, use your time to solve the Abbey mysteries, discover new havens, solve puzzles, and of course, gather reagents as you're doing so. Keep in mind that reagents can only be found at certain times of day, so I would encourage you to mix up your exploring between pre and post combat so that you're getting daytime and nighttime exploring in there. I'd also recommend that you start noting where you find certain reagents, as they're local to different areas of the Abbey grounds, and then they're going to grow back in the coming days after being picked. You're going to want these reagents for a lot of things, like for use in a cauldron that eventually shows up, and that cauldron is going to allow you to create combat items, gifts, you can transmute essences, and honestly, you will never be upset by having too many reagents at your disposal. If you're unsure of where to explore, you can go out there blindly, but I'd encourage you to pay attention to the lore and the collections that you find, because there's often going to be little hints at places of interest within them. If you're overwhelmed, just try to explore one area of the Abbey grounds each day. Any chests that you find out there are going to be permanently marked on the map so that you can return to them when you have arcane keys. Also, small pro tip here, essences or credits are going to spawn in the Abbey every day. So as you're doing all of these activities, just pick up any of the shiny objects that you find, and you will have a nice, steady supply of essences and credits coming in. Now I think you're ready for combat. Your planning for the day is coming to fruition here. Maybe you've got an upgraded ability for one of the heroes on today's mission. Maybe you got a combat bonus that's going to give you a pretty solid edge. Now, when you were analyzing your research, were you also thinking about the hero prerequisites for that research? Can you work that hero into your plan? There is a convenient hotkey to check your research from the mirror table, so make use of that as well. Just make your final decisions, head into battle. It's going to go well. You've come back from a hard-fought battle. What else can you do? Well, at night, you can engage in a hangout with one of your super buds. The available choices are usually based on who you took on a mission that day. Again, this is an opportunity to build friendship levels that can grant, among other things, very powerful passive abilities for your superheroes. Just like a Haven, you're going to have the opportunity to give a gift here, but because you can do multiple hangouts with your friends, the overall rewards will usually be lower than Havens, because remember, Havens are single-use activities. At some point in your playthrough, you may have the opportunity to join clubs like maybe the emo kids or the shop class. These are going to provide unique opportunities to unlock new abilities, get to know your friends more, and build friendship levels. They also tend to have small Abbey side quests associated with them. Without spoiling any specifics, just be aggressive on grabbing reagents during all of your Abbey Grounds adventures. At this point in your day, I would recommend opening your map and check for any outstanding objectives. I'd recommend clearing all of your exclamation and question marks so that you can have a better sleep at night. Clear map equals a clear mind equals a good night's sleep. I would also stop by the library every night for new lore, which means more arcane knowledge. And nighttime is generally when Agatha is going to grant new mysteries and advance your puzzles. And she also happens to be in the library. How convenient. Before you sleep, though, if you haven't done this already, and this is crucial, you absolutely need to pet Charlie every single day. Doesn't matter where you do it, but before you go to bed, it's got to be done. Not only will I consider you an irresponsible pet parent if you don't do it, but you'll be missing out on upgrading Charlie's skills, which are going to be essential for important portions and challenges that you're going to run into in the game. Before you hit the hay for the night, maybe this is the time where you prep your outfit for the next day. You're probably accumulated some gloss by now, so go ahead, do it. Buy the shirt, buy the combat gear. Maybe you want a desk for your room. That's cool. Do it. You've earned it. Change the color of your bed sheets, okay? Doesn't matter. It does matter. It probably matters more than anything, let's be honest. Your hunter needs to look good. Look good, feel good, combat good. That's how I like to live my life. And lastly, most importantly, sleep. You've earned it. And after all, you've got a busy day tomorrow, so make it count. Thank you so much for watching the video. Use these tips to make your day at the Abbey more efficient, effective, hopefully more fun. Thanks to Marvel and 2K for working with me on this video. My name's Christopher Rod and I have a YouTube channel by the same name. I'd love to see you guys over there. Check out the links down below for all things Midnight Suns, and we will see you again soon.